Yo, what is up, everyone? This is episode 25 of the Glimmer cast. I'm your host, Rhea, and I'm joined again by friend of the channel, Original Seed from Potion Sword Run. How are you doing tonight?
I'm doing good. How's it going, Rhea? Hi, everybody.
Yeah, awesome. It's really good to have you on again. So tonight we are discussing The Warriors, the classic 1979 film adapted from a book that was written in the 60s, from what I could, do some light research on. And I am familiar with the movie from childhood. I used to watch it with my family growing up, and I was surprised when you wanted to review it tonight. Do you have like a personal connection to the movie? Do you have some history with it?
Only that is like one of my child. Cause I grew up a little different growing up, so my movie collection is not like Disney. It consists of oddballs like The Godfather and The Warriors. So it was like one of my childhood films. And when we're just like trying to think of movies to talk about last time, I was just going through all the ones that I usually watch, and I was like, what did I watch when I was a little kid? What was I into? And I was like, oh, the Warriors, And I didn't even know it became a video game too. But it was one of those things that was just in the background. So it's just one of my childhood films, and I thought it was just perfect.
Yeah, did you play the video game? I actually never played it.
No, see, the thing I didn't, because I was such a fan of the film. I don't know. I know I should have been a fan of the video game as well, because there's like a 1-to-1 replica of it. But I don't know. I just kind of felt like the Warriors was its own thing. And I didn't kind of want to ruin the movie for me by playing the game and not living up to what the movie was. So I kind of stayed away from the movie for that reason. But supposedly it's good, the game. So I'll get it now eventually, But that's why I stayed away from it when it first came out. I didn't want it to ruin the movie for me, which meant a lot.
Yeah, definitely. Since I missed out on the game, I'm hoping that they adapt it for like current gen consoles in the future, since I guess that's kind of like what we're getting a lot of.
I know. Yeah. I know it was on Xbox, and I'm sure it's backward compatible on the Xbox Series X, and it might look better, run better. I don't know. You know how it goes. I don't know for sure on that one, but most games do work on the newer consoles. I would like a remake too. I mean, it was from Rockstar, so probably not going to be remade anymore because they have Grand Theft Auto, and that's where to make their money. But it would be nice, to get at least a HD polish or something. I don't know, better lighting, better textures.
Yeah, definitely. So like for me, since I hadn't watched the movie in quite some time, like years and years, I was pleasantly surprised when I saw it available on Paramount Plus. So I watched it a couple times today. But granted, that's not the director's cut. I know people like to give me shit about, oh, this is the theatrical cut. You didn't watch the extended cut or director's cut. And I'm just like, no, you're not encouraging
that's why,
me to,
like, I don't mind talking to you
it.
because you don't gotta go out and go watch crazy stuff, because I want people to it's for the average person, man, not like for people who are film buffs and like, oh my god, no, this cannot be because certain blah blah. No, man, I want people, if you watch on your Apple Watch, I don't care when you watch it. Watch your film, have fun with it, watch whatever copy you can get. It's not about, getting the latest and greatest. It's about having fun, enjoying what you're watching. And if you enjoy it, then that's all that matters to me.
Yes, exactly. Like, I know that you collect physical media and you're a big fan of, collecting like physical copies of stuff. So I wasn't sure if you had like the Blu-ray, like director's cut, and you watched it in like its fullest, truest form or anything like that.
I'm not a purist, but it's like, well, I had it on DVD when it first came out, and so that's kind of where I just kept it on DVD. Like, I don't go out and buy the newest one. Like, oh my god, I got to get the HD one because it just came out. It's like, nah, if I happen to come across it, maybe. But like, I like to buy certain things, and then I kind of like that thing. I like this mug. I don't want to get a replica of this mug. I don't want to get another one. I want this mug. So when this mug breaks, it's gonna break my heart. I'm gonna try to glue it back together. And I'm not gonna get another one because it's not the same mug. You know what I mean? So it's the same thing with the movie. I don't go out looking for the best one. Whatever one I got, it's the one I like.
Yes, exactly. And to your point that you made earlier, just watch it on whatever, format is accessible for you.
It's on YouTube right now. Like, I was watching clips of it earlier. I have it on DVD, but I was watching clips of it. Mm-hmm. And it's like you can watch it on YouTube if you don't mind some ads. You know what I mean? And it's good quality. Yes. So don't cheat yourself thinking I'm not going to watch this film because this person said that it's a theatrical release and blah, 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 blah. Nah.
Yeah, no, totally. And Jesse Allen, no shade whatsoever. I'm just saying, like, not even like just like,
no, it's okay. No shade, Ryan. It's okay. Like, if you want to go get the greatest one because the director's like, no, see, I wanted to get this shot because I went to school for for movie making. I went from people like I know it all. So I actually did a little movie for like my capstone. But anyways. So I understand like a director and then the editor. Everyone has a different vision. So if you want to get like the director's cut because you wanted to know what the director's vision was for this movie and it wasn't like people in the background messing with the vision, then I understand that. But the thing is, for the average viewer, that stuff shouldn't matter. And
Yes, exactly.
I don't think you should like rag on people who don't care about that stuff. Because I mean,
Yes.
I should, but I don't. It's like, so who are you or anybody to rag on people like that? That's all.
Exactly. Oh, and we are joined by Tony TGD from the Geek Getaway. What's up,
So
Tony?
Tony,
Good to see you. Yeah, no, totally. So, like, before we jump into the movie discussion, I wanted to go ahead and play the trailer for folks, and I actually have it loaded up. I'll go ahead and share the screen. Let's see. Of the trailer.
yeah, the trailers are a good. I don't know. It's like you can tell it's like an old trailer, from the '80s,
Yes,
and I like it too.
the
Yeah,
voiceover too was what
everything. Yeah,
was
just
perfect
like
for
that. Just the
me.
subtle music. It's just like that's pretty good. I like it.
Yeah, no, and I was just like desperately looking at the trailer, thinking like, "Oh, YouTube is gonna snipe me," but whatever, it's fine. Cool, we made it out back to Coney Island safe and sound. So,
Exactly. Look
yeah,
at
come out and play. Yeah, I was like reminded of like how late in the movie that line actually is.
that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, 70s cinema for sure. Like I love the look of like old film grain, look. Like it's
Yeah,
just
like last week we were talking about Sucker Punch and how it was like all full of wow and beautiful stuff and like all these different images or subliminal images. And on this one, it was just like it didn't rely on any of that special effects. It's just good cinematography, storytelling, acting, and like those shots. And the grain film and all that stuff too. So yeah, it stands the test of time. In its own. I like it.
definitely. But yeah, like so just to kind of like jump into like a rough summary of the movie that, the trailer, fully illustrated. But basically, the protagonists of the film, they're this multi-ethnic group of teenagers or youths, young adults living in New York. They're in like a 9-person gang called the Warriors, and their gang, along with many other gangs, are called into have like this like collective, meeting that is led by the president of the biggest gang in the city, who goes by the name of Cyrus. And they're
Cyrus.
Cyrus, yes, the goat, the king. Yeah, rest in peace. So yeah, his gang is the biggest in the city, and they just have that muscle to call in everyone. And they ordered like everyone to disarm, like come in peace. Like this is a meeting, to on equal ground as far as like just everyone like not trying to waste each other. They say that a lot, like no one is supposed to be wasted at this meeting. It's supposed to everyone come in peace. And yeah, like during the meeting, Cyrus is basically getting everyone on the same page about there's 60,000 of us in these gangs around the city in every borough, and there's only 20,000 cops in the city. So it was a very like kind of moment of solidarity to be like, look, there's like 3 times more of us than there are people who can stop us. So we have the muscle to take over the city. We just need to put aside our differences and come together to do it. And this a-hole whose name is Luther, the Warriors come out and play bottle guy, like
Yeah.
spoke some. Yeah, he spoke some, just like in the movie there's no reason. I'm sure there's like other reasons why he does it that the movie didn't go
No,
into.
they ask him later on, like, why'd you do it? He's all, I just like doing stuff like that. And it's like, dude, you're a psycho, man. That's why he did it. He's a psycho.
Yes, I was just like really dissatisfied with that reason, but like I
Yeah.
just kept getting like flashbacks of all these like revolutionaries in the 20th century who just meaninglessly like got smoked as well by hating ass mofos like who just
Yeah,
like are
because
agents of chaos.
haters, that's all they were. He's like, I don't want to be ruled. I want to do my own little thing. That's all he was.
Yeah, no, like what were your thoughts about kind of the premise of getting all the gangs together to like bound together and take over every borough of New York City? Do you think that it would have been possible if Cyrus had stayed alive?
Well, I mean, yeah, it's always possible. I mean, it's been ruled by the mob before, so who's to say that you can't get a bigger gang to rule by force? Especially if, well, it is possible because I mean, for example, now we have prison gangs that rule the streets, even though they're in prison, and there's guys behind like solitary bars who have no contact with people, yet they're the ones that rule everything. You know what I mean? So having people out in the open, having a leader like that, then yes, it's possible. If it's possible in the real world, then it'll be possible there too.
What's interesting is that one of the lines I caught during one of my watch throughs was Cyrus had this plan to not only like tax law enforcement, but also tax crime syndicates, which I think includes the mob, right? Or like organized
Like
crime and things like
like
that,
everything,
right?
yeah.
Yeah,
Because when you think about it, they'll have 60 soldiers strong. You know what I mean? And that's the thing.
yeah,
Um,
60K. Mhm.
yeah, at least so. Yeah, 60K. Sorry, 60 soldiers. Yeah, 60K. So I mean, even then you can take on the most powerful mobs or whatever because you have the numbers and you own the streets, like they said.
Yes. It's like that brute, like, force of like just pure muscle and youth
Yeah,
that was backing them. And the fact that there were like, more than enough, hands to go on deck to, take over the city. That was like a really inspiring moment in that, like, just for me, like my own personal values. I'm
no,
just
it
like, yes,
was. Yeah.
solidarity. Oh my gosh. Like,
Definitely, yeah. Between all
yeah,
the misfits, and
yes,
when like they're talking like they're the rogues. The thing I liked about it is that they were all misfits. They all come from different neighborhoods, and the thing is, I like how they all had their own costumes. You know what I mean? So you
yes.
knew where they came from or their colors, or whatever we want to call them. But yeah, definitely.
Yeah, totally. And yeah, just like getting back into, where unfortunately Cyrus, even after, inspiring everyone to, come together and put aside their differences, hating ass, Luther just, pops a cap in him out
That's
of
a perfect
nowhere.
name for him, Luther. It's like perfect.
Well, why do you say that?
Well, the devil, Luther, is evil.
Oh, oh, wait. You're talking
Like Lucifer, like trying to go that like
Lucifer. Yeah,
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 like trying
yeah,
to go that way.
totally.
You know what I mean? Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
thinking this. I think they just kind of try to give him like an evil name. So they're just
Got
trying to
it. Yeah.
go
Big
that way.
brain.
Yeah,
Yeah, no, totally. And then some of the like, the following scenes that we get are just like, the scattering of all the gangs from the meeting square or wherever they're at, and every gang is basically after them at that point, especially the gang that Cyrus is running, which is called the
yeah.
Rifts.
The riffs,
So
and I like how the way that they get the word out is through the radio, through the voice. You don't even see the lady. All you see is her lips, and she's just a spokesperson for the riffs, or at least getting the message out to the streets.
she is such a iconic reoccurring motif throughout cinema. Like whenever there is like an homage or even like a parody of someone like running for their life, there always is someone on the radio putting out a
Hmm.
song and stuff like that. So yeah, no, she is iconic for sure. And then during the whole like montage of like nowhere to run to, nowhere to hide, that song's playing while all the gangs are up in arms looking for
Yeah.
the warriors, while the
And
warriors are just desperately
I
trying to get
really
to the
do like
subway.
I really do like the introductions every time they introduce a gang or they go to like a new territory or just like watch like just seeing I don't know why just seeing them like in that big old circle in the big old meetings like I don't know I just felt I don't know it felt like something that I would do something that I would do just give them all little crazy names and like because that's how it was back in the day like growing up so it was just kind of something nice to see too.
Totally. Oh, and Tony from Geek Getaway says the radio lady was the chief of the Where in the World is Carmen Sandiego game show. Oh, I didn't know that. That's really interesting. Like, I haven't watched that show in maybe like 20 plus years, but thank you for the for the fun
Where
fact
the
there,
world is
Tony.
Carmen Sandiego.
But yeah, so like getting back to where the Warriors are making their way through New York to the subway. We kind of see some tension, kind of brewing between the Warriors while they're desperately trying to get to the subway. They lose their leader in like the chaos after the post Cyrus getting shot,
Yeah.
like
I forgot what
outbreak.
his name was. I don't know if they mentioned his name.
Cleon,
Oh yeah,
Cleon.
they did. Yeah, it was so sad because Cleon died at the big old shootout where Cyrus got killed. But
Yes,
yeah, the way he was kicking butt, man. They're like when those rogues try to come at him, we're like, what? He
yes.
would have took them all out. He took out like four in a
Oh,
row until the Rifts jumped in and started doing their ninja shit. But it's so sad.
oh,
Like they're like
yeah, yeah.
elbowing him and just killed him, and I think they killed him. I mean, they didn't say.
Yeah, no, it's super not clear. I know that at least one of the warriors did
Yeah.
unfortunately get wasted. But it wasn't by another gang, but we'll get into that as we continue to explore the story. But yeah, so when it comes to like the growing tension between the remaining members of the warriors, it kind of surfaces with the character Ajax, who someone called out in the chat earlier. He's kind of like this very like just like oozing testosterone, he just like angst and like just like male like hormones, like he's
Yeah.
just like a
He's your
walking ball
manly
of like
man for sure.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. Yo, what up? And yeah, he is sort of like the one who has like the most to prove, or like to himself, I guess. He's the only one who really wants to, cause trouble and, feels like he needs to, exert his
Dominance.
improve himself. Yeah, exert his
Exactly.
dominance and prove himself. And like, he tries to challenge the protagonist, or one of the protagonists in the movie is named Swan, who kind of steps up to become the leader and, is more of a mindful, sort of person for strategy and keeping everyone safe and things like that. But Ajax is just sort of like begrudgingly like accepting the fact that he has to like follow along this leader, and like we kind of got hints of him like being talked down to and being considered like this dumb muscly idiot on the team beforehand anyway, because on their way to the meeting, like he's like, oh, I bet no one's gonna be there, why the fuck are we even going to this thing, blah blah blah. He's talking all this mad shit, and I'm just like, God, this guy's gonna be the a-hole of the movie, obviously. Like
He was the a-hole in the
yeah.
movie. Yeah. He
Yeah.
was.
Do you have a favorite member of the Warriors yourself?
Probably Swan, just because he's still tough, but he's like calm, cool, and collected. You know what I mean? He's so like, and the reason why he was, I mean, it could have been, I think, either or could have been leader or lead them back home. But the reason why it was Swan is because he was chosen as war chief, I guess, chief.
Yeah, by Cleon.
By Cleon. So, and I think it's because he's just as strong, just as violent, if he wants to be, as Ajax, but he's more level-headed. He's more, he's because later on in the movie they even mention how that when Swan wants to go talk to a certain gang, and he's like, when did you become the diplomat? So I mean, he's known for being a tough guy, but he can also be a diplomat. And so I think I like him more because it kind of relates better with me. But I did like Ajax because, I mean, given all how he was, like, over the top, aggressive, he was still very loyal to his friends and gangs and always wanted to kick butt for them. Never wanted to be a pussy and run. So I always wanted to stop and fight. So I kind of admired him, always wanted to fight as well.
Yeah, not just for me. I was just like over his whole like presence, because he was just like, he just oozed like predator vibes for me. Like obviously he was like a sexual predator and he does kind of get his comeuppance, but I still would never, wish for someone to get arrested or bodied by the cops or anything like that. Like I would not wish that on my worst enemy, but still, like, that doesn't take away the fact that he's a shitty person in my eyes anyway. But yeah. That's just my 2 cents.
But that's okay. But I like a lot of the characters too, because there's a good variety of characters. Like there was obviously muscle. There was muscle characters. There was some that are like more like the sweet warrior guys, like the
Rembrandt.
Yeah, there's like a few of them too. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like there's a couple of them. And so this thing is like the warriors weren't full of just meatheads and muscle heads and tough guys. They were full of people from the neighborhood, I guess you can say. So that's kind of what I like too. I liked a lot of them. I mean. And that's one thing that I actually liked about a lot of the gangs, even the skinheads and all these. I forgot what they're turbo ACs. I don't know what they're called, but they're like black skinheads, yes. White skinheads. It wasn't about race or anything. It was just about in the neighborhood you grew up in, and that's kind of what I liked about it too. So I liked a lot of the characters, and I connect with them that way because they weren't they're just normal people, and I could see them just growing up with them and just like, okay, well, I'm a warrior because this guy's my neighbor and he looks out for me and he's a little bit tougher than me, but it's all good because we're here for each other, type of deal. So I liked a lot of them. Yeah.
Definitely. I'm going to go ahead and acknowledge my friend on Twitch who's in the chat over on that platform. Who's the most beautiful streamer on
Twitch.
Twitchers! I know. My friend, Original Seed, he's definitely a beautiful streamer. So yes, looks like you have some new simps over on Twitch. You should consider, making some content for there.
I guess.
But yes. But yeah, no, good to see you over on Twitch. Thank you for supporting us there. But yeah, so I think for me, that was kind of really refreshing to see as well, to your point, because this movie is like like almost 40 years old, and or like over 40 years old, and we're seeing like multi-ethnic gangs. We got like people of like Afro-Latino descent, Black descent, white descent, like, you know, multi-ethnic, like the list goes on and on. Like it's literally like New York is like
Yes.
that mixing pot that it has been like since like the 20th century of just just like um yeah, just like a bunch of different like representations of different ethnic groups, and no one like there are a lot of folks who aren't like necessarily discernible as one race or another. There are folks who are like very racially ambiguous too. So yeah, I just wanted to call out the movie for that. So I definitely did appreciate that, especially because like a lot of the gangs, other than like there were some gangs that were like specifically like there was one gang that was like specifically Asian folks, which like you
Yeah,
know
yeah,
like
I think
yeah.
so. Like the ones that I saw them coming out, and they had like that weird Asian get up, like from the olden days or something.
Mm-hmm,
Like the
definitely.
weird, like the little hats. Yeah, that's that. I think
Yeah.
that one. And I think just the girls maybe like were only ones that were. And I'm not sure if they had only Latin gangs too, because when they were inside the big old circles, there were like some like what you would call like Chicano type gangs. But I'm not sure if they're
Oh, oh, maybe
maybe they
like
could.
all like Cuban folks and like all
Yeah,
Puerto
yeah,
Rican folks,
but yeah,
maybe.
I don't know
And
what
it's hard
they
to
could have just
tell.
exactly. It's like you can't tell, so it's like, well, yeah. So it's
Yeah,
good.
definitely.
Mhm.
Totally. So yeah, like what's really cool is that like the movie takes place like in different neighborhoods around New York, and how the warriors travel through to all these different neighborhoods is by subway. So every time that there is like, you know, an obstacle that they have to, you know, disembark from the subway, they encounter another gang and have to, you know, battle their way to get through to the next neighborhood and make it to the next subway station. The first encounter that we get into when the warriors are, you know, trying to make it through to their first stop is this neighborhood where we're encountered by the orphans, who are one of my favorite gangs. They are just the most pathetic, you know, gang in the entire movie. They were not even invited to the huge, like, you know, big gang meeting where everyone was trying to make peace. Barely anyone even knows who they are. Even the riffs are like
They're not
the
part of our
orphans.
network or
Yes,
whatever.
exactly. That's exactly what the new leader of the Rift says, and like this whole like, you know, discourse of Swan and one of his friends from his gang, it like tries to, you know, be friendly with the orphans, because the leader of the orphans, I forget his name, he's just this tall lanky dude with like, you know, a lazy eye, like that looks like he got punched in the face like like one too many
Yeah.
times. Like he is just like
Like their
trying to like
costume, their costumes are all dirty, baggy, like all like they're not washed, and like they're just that's their colors, you know what I mean? So it's like, yeah,
yeah.
the orphans fit them. The name fits them.
Yes, definitely. Like, what's interesting is that they feel like they have to kind of like prove their legitimacy as a
They they,
gang.
they carry newspaper clippings. When you
Yes,
got that
yes,
finger, as a kid, I thought about that. I was like, why would you carry that? Aren't you embarrassed? You know, I was a little kid and I thought that, but apparently not. You know.
what I didn't get was like, yeah, like the fact that they were just like, I didn't get why they were like a gang, or these just like the folks who every other gang in the city just did like declined membership for. Like, I didn't get what brought them together. It was
I
really
think that,
weird.
like I said, the only thing that brought them together was living up in that block, man. That's what it was, you know. It was like a shitty part of town. Nobody wants to be there. Not even the girl, what's her
Oh,
name, Mercy.
Mercy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
not even Mercy wants to be there. That's why she left, you know. She saw an opportunity. She's like, I'm gonna take it. I don't care what it is. We'll see. These guys have nice shiny vests. They look like they do the little sewing themselves, get it professionally done. These guys have them loose ass t-shirts and stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with these guys.
What's so funny is that one of the warriors is like, oh yeah, the orphans, like when he's trying to, you know, convince them that oh yeah, the orphans are a well-known gang. They're like, oh yeah, our youth organizer or something like told us about y'all, and the orphans were like, yeah, we don't have one. And I'm just like, wow, even like, you know, the social
I
workers don't
know.
give a fuck about y'all. Like, that is
Yeah, I was like,
sad.
dang. I was just looking down, like,
Yeesh.
and the lanky guy knew. He was like, oh, you know, he's like, oh, these guys ain't bad. They just kind of want to go through. Okay, I'll let you through. And that's when Mercy came on and started mouthing off, man, like causing problems for no reason. What do you do with girls? Trying to cause problems between guys. We're just trying to chill, have a good time, saying, hey, I'm gonna walk through, all right, homie? Yeah, don't worry about it. Just, you know, be a cool guy. All right. Then the girl comes in, and then shit hits the fan all the time.
I did not understand. Okay, so like yeah, we can get into Mercy's character and like I tried really hard to empathize with her like but I just didn't understand why she had to be so antagonistic. Like is that just like a survival mechanic of like some folks to just be antagonistic like that? Like what's your
That's what it
opinion?
was. I think that's what it was. It's just she's just, you know, she grew up tough. She had to look out for herself all the time and talk like that. She has to talk like the guys to be respected pretty much in that neighborhood. And so she does what she has to do.
So like when it comes to like cuz I guess like this is a foreign concept for me but like when I guess like when men feel like they have to establish dominance or you know protect like you know or reinforce their self-respect or something like that like there's some sort of like social dynamic that I'm like that is really foreign to me that I'm trying to understand but it's like she feels like she has to you know establish dominance amongst them like I don't know I guess like I'm kind of leaning on you to explain it to me
I
because
don't think she
I'm
was.
totally
Yeah, I don't think she was pretty much establishing dominance. She just wanted to establish her place in in that situation. Establish like just pretty much. She's not trying to be dominant over them. She's not really trying to call them out. Like per se, like in her character, I think she's just trying to just show that she's actually tough as well. Um, the the thing is, I don't think she has respect at all for the orphans at all. Like not even an inch of respect. And that's why she talks to them the way she does. Because she tries doing that with the Warriors a little bit, but then she kind of knows that, oh no, these guys are not, pathetic. So she starts showing more respect towards them, and especially as the movie goes on.
Yes, definitely. Do you think that she was related to the leader of the orphans, or was that her boyfriend
No,
or friend of the neighborhood or
no,
something?
no, just a friend of the neighborhood. Because I grew up with girls like not like that, but I mean I grew up with like neighborhood kids all the time, and yeah, some of them are just a little more closer to the guys, and they're just a little just more like us. And yeah, like they're kind of like one of us. Like you make fun of them just if you were the guys. And then there's other ones that don't. They stay away from you, and you kind of just talk and say hello because you're courteous to each other. And she's just one that kind of just lived on the rougher side, I guess.
Got it. Okay, fair enough. Because like for me, like I'm like I have mentioned, you know, before, and I like talked to you about like growing up, like I was a very like introverted, very like shy, like kept to myself sort of person, like very timid or whatever. I'm starting to like break out of that now, but I still have a lot of those characteristics. So when it comes to, you know, folks like breaking each other's balls and stuff like that and like
Yeah.
friendly banter like that, it's still a little foreign to me because it's hard for me to pick up like when you're joking and when you're not joking, you know?
And
So
that's the thing. It is a little. It's hard because when you grow up in like in the streets, so it's just like always outside, hanging out with neighborhood kids, and you can grow up like kind of poor and not and like inside the house and like doing like unsupervised. You do grow up a little bit more not uncultured, not just less of a filter, I guess. So you use different words you would do than you're inside when your parents are around, I guess. So you kind of grow up different because you've been growing up that way your whole life because you don't spend all your time inside the house. So yeah, it's gonna be different than say you're going in, like I feel when I go into people's houses or visit or when I did when I was a little kid, I always felt like I was out of place. Like I just felt like I was like I couldn't move in somebody's house. And so I don't know, like in the streets, you just felt more comfortable with everybody. And so you're more loose with your words and the way you talk to each other. And it can get rough, but I think because you're used to it, it's not rough to us.
got it. No, like for me, I just felt a huge amount of like sympathy for a lot of the kids in this movie. I'm just like, where are your parents? Like, where are like adults? Where is structure? Like for me, because
The
I'm
parents are
someone who
probably
thrives
working.
with structure. No, yeah, you're totally right. Like you know, there it could be like a single parent household or two parent, you know, working household. So
Yeah,
I
and
don't
that's the
know
thing I
any of
like
the
about it
background there.
because it shows everybody a world that they're not accustomed to, they're not used to, or they may not see. It shows the rest of America how other people live too, and so it's just kind of that's why. Yeah, people don't like. I didn't have parents growing like. Well, first of all, I didn't have a mom growing up. I lived with my grandma, but my grandma was always working. Like I had to walk myself to school as a little kid. I had to walk myself back. I didn't have anybody at home to cook me stuff. Like when I got home, it's like I look in the fridge. Okay, they have some leftovers. Right, then stuff like that. But and I always had food. I always had somewhere to live. It's just I didn't have supervision. So there's a lot of people, and I came up kind of normalish. But there's a lot of people who grew up like that, and it's just a lot of people who don't. But it's just like this. We have this mentality that people grow up in structured homes with parents, and they teach you how to go to school. How was your day? How was supper? It's like that's not the way people live. At least not people who without means. So it just that's why yeah, it's just nice to see not necessarily representation because I didn't grow up that crazy, but I mean at least I can connect to those people more than I can connect to people sitting out around the dinner table.
Yes, yeah, and like yeah, to Tony's point here, a lot of latchkey kids. I mean, I was a latchkey kid. I grew up in a single mother household. It's just for
But
me,
you were a
like
good latchkey kid, you know. You're one that's like, I'm gonna stay inside. I'm gonna be, do the stuff that interests me. And me, I was doing that, but then, someone would knock on the window, on the door, and then I'd be like, oh my god, look at that. What's going on out there? And that was me.
yeah, no, like I mean, going back to like what I was saying about like yeah, like I feel a lot of like sympathy for these kids that like maybe like having that type of like structure of like going to school, going home and like doing homework and then like making yourself dinner and then like going to bed or getting ready for bed, things like that, or playing video games and then going to bed. That was the type of structure I lived on, like and I still to a large part operate on that type of structure. For me,
That's
like
what that's what I'm doing now. Actually,
yes, I'm just
yeah.
like I don't so for me like it's really foreign like when other folks aren't able to like fall in line with like that type of or don't gravitate towards that type of mentality, and then they sort of deviate and go to where like the like kind of like this unmapped territory of like oh like going to do things that like I'm not supposed to because the allure is so much there.
It is.
Like
It's the
it's
allure.
foreign to me.
No, it's weird because my cousin, he's a little bit younger than me, and he still has problems going in and out of prison and stuff. And he's a good kid. He's kind of smart. It's still a lure. He likes the power trip. Like he'll be in these I guess you call them crack houses. I don't know. You call them dens. I don't know what you call them. Anyways,
A trap house.
Yeah, exactly, a trap house. That's what it is. And he'll be hanging out a trap house. He'll be the doorman. Making sure like he's a tough guy. Like okay, you can come in. No, you can't come in. And it's like like, and you get power like hanging out at night doing that shit, and he does. So I don't get it, and I'm like in between you and him. So I mean, I don't know if you don't get it, I'm and I don't get it, you're not gonna get it. Because it's like, whoa.
Yeah, definitely. D. Reed has a good comment here. Structure in life is a good thing, but sometimes it's good to get out of our comfort zone sometimes, as long as it's not illegal. Yeah, no, for me, like, I'm still trying to figure out, like, what exactly, like, I'm willing to do as far as, like, get out of my comfort zone. But, like, right now, I feel like I'm pretty content with
talking online, doing this stuff. Because I
did
it before. Like, you're the only
it's a
person
great
I talk to
outlet.
online. It is, yeah. Like I'm all nervous every time. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna do it, But
you're doing
we're
great.
out of our comfort. But what I started doing now that I have a dog? I just go out for like walks at random times, like in the middle of like just everywhere. And it's like I told you, I do urban exploring now, and it's just like I don't know, I get to see new shit all the time. So I didn't do that before. So I'm trying new stuff too, trying to get out of my comfort.
By the way, you need to start doing those morning vlogs again when you're walking your dog and you're like just showing us your neighborhood and stuff. I don't know if you stopped doing that like because you got stalkers or something, but yeah.
No, but I am always worried of what I post. So it's like, these guys are gonna be like putting clues together, but I don't really care. No, I just haven't. It's been ugly, and unless like it's beautiful and she wants to go a little further, then I don't make those videos.
Gotcha. No, fair enough. But yeah, getting back. Yeah, really quick. Do you read's comment? You learn life lessons that way. Just like getting on streams on YouTube was out of my comfort zone. Yes, yeah, exactly. I'm making huge steps to get out of my comfort zone and become a better, like speaker and getting more conversational with how I stream with folks. So yeah, this is a big step for me. So even if I'm still a little awkward on camera, it's a learning process. So I appreciate y'all being here for me.
Yep.
Tony says, gotta learn how to lead a double life. I'm a saint as far as my family knows, but I'm a devil as far as the streets know. Yes, yeah, the streets is in YouTube. No, that's what's up. Yeah, so like yeah, after the warriors encounter the orphans, my favorite gang out of the whole movie, Mercy starts to kind of like follow them around. She's like, oh yeah, like to the point you were making original seed, like she's attracted to this gang. Like there's someone different. They're like a lot nicer to look at than the orphans, and they're her way out of this terrible living situation she's at. She kind of vents to Swan later on in the movie that She lives next to, like families that, have like 5 kids, everyone's like overweight and unhappy. And she's just like living in the moment of like, she knows that where she is in her current state of being in her youth and, being very physically attractive is pretty much the best that she could ever hope to be in that current moment. So she kind of just, wastes away her, her body, her youth, and things like that, because she knows it will literally all be downhill from there. And it's really heartbreaking to hear that too, because like it's something that, like, although Swan doesn't really like put into words like how he like empathizes about that with her, you could tell like between like their connection that, there's like he's looking for, he says that, he's looking for someone who's more than just, an easy lay, or just someone who's like just so frivolous, with themselves. But then he learns that Mercy actually does want more from her life. It's just up to that very moment before she met him, Swan, that was pretty much like all she could ever hope to do, like with her life, is like, eventually like, have kids, have a family. But like her in like that current moment of her youth and things like that was pretty much the best moment for her life up to that point. Do you have any thoughts around that?
No, you pretty much summed it up pretty good. Yeah, and I don't understand why you don't like her if you understand her. You
It's
saw what
just
she was.
like I could empathize with, well, no, I can't say I empathize with her. I say I sympathize with her because like again, like having like this very like low sense of self-worth, like for your physical, well-being, is something I've never personally like dealt with. Like, I've never like experimented with drugs or were like, physically like irresponsible or anything like that to the point where it led to my self-destruction, like it almost does with her character in the movie. So I just feel like really disheartened by the fact that, her life was in such dire straits that it led her down that path. And I don't understand how that happened. So that's kind of where I'm at. I'm like, I feel so sorry for her, but at the same time, I'm like, her character doesn't make sense to me because the circumstances of her life are so foreign to me, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it does, and it's sad, like because some people do live like that, and it's just like, oh, you know.
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
definitely.
that's why my heart breaks for her, and that's why I kind of rooted for her throughout the whole movie. And so I was glad she got out of that place and found, maybe hopefully true love. I don't know, but I mean, at least she, yeah, I don't know. I really like her as a character because she came from nothing. She was just, I guess she was a prostitute, or she said she would sleep with guys just to, do stuff.
Yeah,
But
she was
but
pretty loose, I guess. Is that, I guess that's
yeah,
not a PC word, but yeah, that's an easy word to
yeah,
understand.
yeah, pretty
But
much,
yeah,
yeah, just to get, whatever she needs and to get ahead. Um, but like I said, she does show that she wants more in life. She wants more ambition. It's just that she's just stuck in that rut, and with everybody else that's stuck in that rut. Um, and like she knows like that she feels bad for herself already, that I can't feel bad for her. Um, and at the moment where I connected with her the most and it broke my heart, and I was like, oh god damn it, was when she was in the subway with Swan. There, I don't know what time, maybe towards the end, but
yeah,
those prom kids came in. And they were all dressed all beautiful and nice, and they were having so much fun and just talking to everybody next to them, until they panned over to Mercy, and you can see her all full of filth, like in her shoes, like dirt from all the running, like her makeup all messed up and everything messed up, and they're just looking at each other. Even the well dressed people felt so uncomfortable and bad. Like they didn't want to make them feel bad for the way they looked. They just so happened to be in that situation at that time. But when she closed her eyes, and I was just like, God, she just like, where's she going in her eyes? Like, I felt so bad. Like, I can tell that she was just like dying inside so much. And then even the kids just like, you know what, let's just get off right here. And so they got off before they had to get off, just to get rid of that moment. But ever since that part, they're like, oh my God. It's like that poor freaking girl's been through so damn much, that I just felt so bad for her.
yeah, yeah. No, like that's a really good point. Like, yeah, although I can't say I truly like empathize with her, like, yeah, just a deep amount of sympathy for, the amount of hurt and turbulations and things like that she had to go through. And on her journey along with Swan and the rest of the warriors, we get to learn more about her as a character, and like some of the, like I was saying earlier, like some of the hope that she lost from living in the neighborhood where they met her at. But yeah, like she does get what appears to be a second chance at life by following along with them, and it seems like she was willing to toss away like the quote unquote security, or the her home, and not never having traveled outside of there ever, to be able to risk it all for something new and some potential chance at us at having a different life. So yeah, totally.
Yeah, although at first they kind of kidnapped her, so I don't know, like they just took her ass in the train a few times. She was like, "Hey, what about me?" And then Ajax like, "What about you?" You know what I mean? So and they had her like all by the, so they kind of kidnapped her for a bit. I'm just saying, for like half the movie, she was kidnapped until Swan told her, "You know what, just leave." And she kind of came back and warned them, but kind of messed up his plan. But either way, you know what I mean?
Kind of Stockholm syndrome-y. Yeah,
exactly.
A little bit.
Kind of like a little stray dog.
Yeah.
You're like, okay,
Yeah.
you can come with me. I was a little harsh back then.
Yep. Let me think. So they eventually get split up, where Swan is traveling with Mercy and I think another member of the team of the Warriors, and they all agree that if they were to split up, they meet up at Union Square, which is where the transfer point is for their trains. So they do end up splitting up. So the rest of the gang, they encounter another gang that we get an extended amount of time with, called the Lizzies. So the Lizzies are another one of my favorite gangs in the movie, because they're just like a group of young women who are in a gang, and unbeknownst to the Warriors, they are an all lesbian gang, and they are fully aware of the Warriors being fingered for having killed Cyrus in the big gang meetup on the other side of town. So they're basically there to entrap the Warriors, unbeknownst to the Warriors, who didn't realize that they were an actual gang until they were deep within their clutches.
Yeah, one was always a little worried. I forgot the little guy's
name.
Rembrandt. He was always like a little weary, and I like that about him. The other two just kind of like, oh, women that want us. Let's just go. Yes. Like I would have thought twice. Hey, I'm being chased by all these gangs. There's like about 5 women right here in the subway, just like looking at me. Like, women don't do that. I guess they do, but not like that.
That's what I didn't get to, because okay, yeah, thinking. So that's kind of a reoccurring theme in the movie, is like these young dudes who are like maybe 17, 18-ish or whatever. They're young adults. So I don't know how smart, like young guys like that young are, but apparently this movie doesn't think much about their intelligence, because they're all thinking with their dicks, and like they see a woman and then they immediately forget that they're on the run for their life.
Exactly. That's AJ's downfall. That was these guys' almost downfall. You know what I mean? I think the reason why though is because they didn't know that everybody was after them. You know what I mean? Like they weren't listening to the radio. They just kind of left the scene not knowing what was going on. So maybe they just had their guard down and thought like, fudge, we're just going through people's neighborhoods and that's why they're chasing us. There's some cool girls here. Let's just have some fun. So I can understand.
Yeah. Maybe like, because a lot of them think very highly of themselves. Like there are some of them that are like, oh yeah, my pull rate is like 100%. Like no, like I'm paraphrasing, obviously this is like 2020 dialogue that I'm paraphrasing with, but yeah, no, like they're all just full of machismo. They're just like, yeah, no, like I'm like and especially Ajax, who I forgot to jump into this. So like Ajax, while they're on the run through the park, Ajax sees this woman just sitting on this park bench
at night.
Yes, at night, and she's just very much like just looking very like
all open.
Very, like her expression is just like looking at him very sexfully. And yeah, just like pure like entrapment. And this
a little honey trap.
That's
Rhea on Twitter.
No. I'm not.
Imagine Rhea on Twitter, and that's what you saw on the bench right there. Just like, oh.
They're like, I'm just laying here on the floor. Want to join me?
If you don't follow Rhea on Twitter, follow Rhea on Twitter.
Oh my god. Yes, exactly. Well, okay, so this is what I'm trying to say, is that Ajax is so fucking stupid in this movie. Like, he gets into fights with his own friends over nothing because he's jealous he wasn't picked as the leader. And then he like goes and falls for a clear entrapment, thing with like this woman cop who is like she slaps the handcuffs on him as soon as he like tries to like make a move on her. And um this is what I really didn't get. Like, this was frustrating about the movie. They spent like maybe a good like 2 minutes of screen time of this lady cop waiting for the police to come and arrest Ajax, and then Ajax just struggling to get off of the bench, like because his handcuff is like connected to the bench, and then the cops like come and like rough him up a bit and bash him in the mouth with like a club. And I'm just like, yeah, you could have easily like wrapped this up. Like, we didn't even get this much screen time with Cleon when he was like getting bodied by the Riffs and the cops like in the meeting square. Like, so I felt like that was a little bit of like, okay, yeah, I get it. Like, Ajax, we spent more time with Ajax than Cleon, so we do want to have more of an impactful moment of losing him. But at the same time, I'm like, well, he's an asshole, so I could care less. But at the same time, it sucks that he had to get fucked up by the cops, though. I would not wish that on anyone, like I said.
Yeah,
but
like that was probably like my least favorite scene in the movie. Like, it makes sense, like he would be the one to get caught in the honey trap. But first of all, it's like it's obvious like she's there to be a honey trap. But even if she wasn't, like, it was just weird because she was like inviting, like, yeah, come and show me how you do things to the girls. And so he was, but then he went too rough for her. So was the problem that he was too rough? Or because I mean, she was all cool with it at first until he started going all grabby and just didn't want to take his time and ease in. So I understand if she was a cop, or she just had that whistle because she knows cops are around the park. Like, I don't know. So that thing was just kind of like,
Yeah,
maybe
no, that's a good point.
Maybe just too convenient just to get rid. Like, maybe it's like, oh, let's just write it in and just to give AJ a way out or something without killing them. I don't know.
Yeah, Tony mentioned this. I didn't know this bit of background detail. I mean, yeah, it would have been cool if Ajax had redeemed himself or like sacrificed himself for the gang. Like, I mean, he kind of did. I guess he kind of did because like he stopped the cops by distracting them to arrest him, and so they can like get a lead. Away.
And not only that too, but there was a part where he was running with, I think, Cowboy. I don't know who he was running with, but he was running from those guys with the baseball bats that were dressed like as clowns and stuff. And
the baseball player guys or whatever.
Yeah, and then I remember Cowboys, like, he was saying like, "Oh, I can't go on anymore." And he's like, "Are you sure? Are you sure?" Like he was not gonna leave like Cowboy behind. He wanted to stay and fight, and he was gonna stay there and fight and protect him, and he did. He was like 1 against 6 guys until the other 2 or 3 came back from behind.
Oh, but, yeah, you're right. Yeah, because Cowboy does say like, "Oh, he saved me. I have to go back and
So I think he kind of did redeem himself there. Like I said, he was a jerk, and he was like, not thinking, but like he's always there for his gang, no matter what. Even if he's not chosen to be the leader, he's still gonna be there for them. So I thought he kind of redeemed himself then, and so it kind of just sucks the way he exited the film pretty much. I mean, at least he didn't die, at least he just got beat up by the cops. But yeah.
That's true. Oh, like speaking of like members that we lose along the way. So yeah, Cleon, Ajax. Then one of them, I forget which one it was.
Curly hair guy. Yeah,
curly hair guy.
The one that witnessed the actual murder.
Yes, him. Who helped Swan talk with the orphans.
Yes.
He walked up with them and tried to corroborate the story with him, and try to get past peacefully. So yeah, he gets in a tumble or tuffle, whatever the word is, with a cop in the subway, and they start rolling around on the ground, and then one thing leads to another. The poor kid is tossed into the railroad way or whatever of the subway coming, and that's the last we see of him.
Yeah,
and that's
poor
about
guy
it.
Gets hit by the train and gone.
Yeah, rip, waste it. So yeah, there's that. So yeah, going back to the group as they're split up. Some of the guys, including like Rembrandt and the 2 other dudes in the gang, apart from Swan and Mercy, they are distracted by the Lizzies, and they go back to the Lizzies' apartment or house or whatever, and they're having fun. They're smoking, like they're dancing and just vibing, making out and stuff. And Rembrandt is just sitting there, or he's just standing there looking around like super uncomfortable. And then he starts to notice that some of the women are dancing with each other and like kind of touching each other and stuff like that. And some of the women are shot like in ways to like make them seem a little bit more
Manly,
masculine.
masculine.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. 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 So like, or like not 100% like feminine, I guess, in how they're, being shot.
like
So
yeah,
like some
definitely.
red
Like it's just
flags
like
start to, go
with their
off.
legs like open, the way they sit down, like
And
men
then they're
do,
like
kind of like
smoking and drinking
smoking stuff.
40s and
Yeah,
stuff. Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
Wearing
Yeah.
their
Yeah.
flannel shirts. I
Yeah.
don't know.
And I'm just like, dude, that's me. Like, I wear flannel. I drink 40s like that with my legs open. Yeah, like, I was just like, wait, I feel attacked right now. Yes, Necron, to your point, the cops are the most brutal gang. Yes, I agree.
I
100%.
know, dude. They give no chill. Like the cops
Yeah.
just. That's how it was back in the day, though. They're back in the day. Ha! That's how they are.
Current day. Yes.
That's how
Yes.
they are right now.
100.
The cops
Yeah.
are portrayed 100% the way they should be.
Big facts, big facts. Okay, so yeah, like Rembrandt's just like the kid who was like not with, getting seduced by any of the women. He's just sort of standing there like, dude, we got to go, like, something's up. And then like we see the doors like, like lock, and the Lizzie start pulling out weapons and things like that. And yeah, it just is on like Donkey Kong at that point. Yes, exactly.
I
They
can't
just,
believe they
go
like
ham.
2 guns and they miss close range, like all those times. Like, what's going on?
For real.
They get punched in the face.
Yes, Devin, exactly.
Yeah. They get dead. That was a good scene.
Totally. Yeah, no, I forget, like, where do they go after they encounter the Lizzies? I'm assuming they just run to the subway station and make it
They
to
do,
Union
and
Square,
yeah,
right?
they do, and that's when they meet up with some other 2 guys, and that's where the big old rumble and the restroom takes place. But the Lizzie thing was weird because, like, a lot of it was slow motion, whatever. But in the end, after they kind of crashed through the door, all the girls just went, oh, and they gave up. It's like, go to the hallway, start shooting from the hallway. You still got some bullets. Like, you don't got to give up right there. You're
So, like, how did they lose them then? Like, because they have
did
to,
it.
like,
They just all they do is all the warriors did was just run out of the apartment, and they just didn't follow them. So like, okay then, and they just kind of just went to the subway, and that's where they met everyone else.
is that where they encounter the roller skate gang? I forget exactly what that. Okay,
Like
so right after the
from
Lizzies is the roller skate gang.
It's
Okay.
roller skating, yeah. That's where they all meet.
Yeah.
That's where they actually start meeting up again.
Yes. Okay. So then that is so it's kind of a MacGuffin type of way that they're able to evade the cops and all these other gangs by just jumping on the subway and making it to the next stop. I don't know. I felt like, why wouldn't they encounter another gang on the subway? And then they're like, oh shit, we literally have like, no way off now because the subway keeps moving and like there's another gang that encounters them. I wish that there had been something like that. I don't know if there is that in the director's cut or not, but that's just like my one little piece of feedback, that I wish that there could have been more tension or more stakes by there, being like an encounter on the subway that they can't run away from. I don't know. That's just my, 2 cents.
No, it was because there was, I think they ran every time. I think every time they encountered a gang, they ran. So I don't know. It would have just been until the end, they're gonna face the rogues. But I mean, yeah.
The rogues are Luther's gang, right?
Luther's gang, yeah. But it would have been nice if they're actually, did actually, well, I mean, they did fight in the restroom though. Like they did have a rumble in there, so that was a good fight scene, and I really did like that scene. The way it was directed, it felt smooth. It felt cohesive. But yeah, it would have been nice, if the stakes were higher, like if they were actually, I don't know, because they just ran a lot.
Yeah, totally. I mean, like, for what it's worth, like whenever I watch these movies, I always am like shocked at the lack of use of guns. Like the guns use in this movie is very sparse, and it's almost remarkable to me personally, because I'm like, well, like clearly there are people who have arms in this city, like not just like razor blades or shaving blades like the orphans use shaving blades. Like, did you notice that? Like,
he busted out the thing. That was it wasn't a switch knife, it was a shaving blade,
as if like he was really gonna fuck somebody up with that.
Oh, well, I don't know, man. You can really give people some slices, man. At least mutilate their faces. Those things are dangerous.
True. You're right.
But yeah, just kill me. Don't hurt my face.
I forgot to mention. So, like, the way that they get away from the orphans was really fucking cool, in my opinion. Like, so, like, the orphans are just standing there with their shaving blades, like, yeah, we're gonna fuck you up. And then, like, Swan like rips a piece of Mercy's dress and makes a Molotov cocktail out of it and throws it at a car to like kind of distract them. And what's interesting, it's not just a distraction; it's a full blown explosion too. So it like makes a full scale, like, getaway, like ability for them to just make their way back to the subway station to escape with Mercy. So yeah, I did want to kidnap her. Yes, they did kidnap her. Yes, not it was not her choice to go with them.
Turnball AC, that's what it was. Yeah.
Oh right, the quote unquote skinheads, the multi-ethnic, multiracial skinheads. Yeah, definitely. So yeah, like final encounter with the rogues. This is sort of where like I started to kind of zone in and out of the movie a little bit. Do you mind kind of like refresh my memory about like how they encountered the rogues and like the final blowout where the Rifts finally encountered them too?
Yeah, before they encountered the rogues, there was a scene. I think it might have been after they beat up the people with the roller skates. I'm not sure, but the new leader from the
Rifts.
The Rifts. There you go. Someone told him, or at least someone was brought in that also saw the murder for Cyrus. So from that point on, like they already knew that it wasn't the warriors who shot Cyrus, but no one else did at that point. So when the rogues actually met them, the rogues throughout the whole movie were just seen, like Luther was seen talking to somebody on the phone. It doesn't explain who he was talking to. I'm gonna say maybe it was his leader of his gang that he was talking to, because they're just kind of giving updates of them going home and what happened at the meeting and stuff. And he's on the phone with him twice. Either way, but one of the sidekicks of the rogues, he's all stressed out because he feels like, if no one gets the warriors, they're going to tell the Rifts that it wasn't them. And, it might get some blowback because it was actually the rogues that did it. So Luther tells them, don't worry about it. We'll go hunting as well. We'll find them before anybody else does. So eventually they do find them. They find them at home in the Coney Islands as they're going in through the boardwalk. And it's just weird for me when they find them because they have like their Cadillac is all spray painted ugly. And it's just going so slow right behind them. And it's like 10 feet, 15 feet, 20 feet away from them. And you can hear the motor going, blah, 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 but it's going so slow, just kind of keeping like a watchful eye. And that's where they meet him. And that's pretty much all the ending goes. There's like no big old scene or anything, but the warriors do know that they're being followed. They run to get some weapons under the boardwalk. It looks like a boardwalk. I'm not sure why it is, but they pull bars. They pull a bunch of different stuff. And they actually stand their ground. Then, and that's a big old scene where the rogues come in and their Cadillac, and you hear Luther all, warriors come out to play, and he gets like angry and angry as he says it. And the first time, and you look at his face, it's like, oh my god, dude, he's there clinking those freaking bottles, and it's giving me nightmares and shit. But his face, he looks all sweaty, his eyes are all glossy, and his teeth are all sharp. And he's just there screaming and screeching. And that's where you get introduced to how like actually creepy they are. And that's where the big old fight scene or the supposed fight scene is gonna happen. But it doesn't.
Yes. So like really quick to go back to this other scene that Necron called out, Luther is a mega dick in that store. Like the girl with the pigtails, like who's running the little convenience stand, like where they steal some cigarettes and they
and like some candy bars or something. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. And she's just sort of like really stoic looking at them. And I'm just like, these pigtails are killing me. She's literally just standing there looking at them and steal everything.
Is she really gonna work at a place like that in the middle of the night, like with nobody there? It's like, okay, yeah, mom, I'm gonna work right here. It's like she didn't look like she was like, she looked like she was like well brought up, I guess you could say. But so it was kind of odd. And it was just funny how hey, you're gonna pay for that?
Yes, I was gonna say
that. What? Like shit, dude.
What a dick!
Like,
exactly.
All that shit. Like, just say no. Yeah. Just say no.
Yeah.
But yeah, So there was glimpses of him being evil, but I mean, just that whole little clink, like that is so iconic. Like you do that, come out to play, and everybody knows pretty much. Like, oh my god, where that came from. If you hear a little clicking, click, 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 like even that will hit your brain. So pretty much after that scene, Swan pretty much gives Mercy a way out. He tells her, "Hey, we're gonna go this way. You slip out to the back and go run, hide, whatever you're gonna do." And she's like, "No, I'm gonna stay with you." She proves herself already, and she's I'm one of you guys now, and she does stay with them. So I actually like it too because, like I said, throughout the whole movie, she actually shows her loyalty all the way through the end. And so when they meet up in the sand dunes, I mean, I guess they want to meet up by the beach because supposedly Swan said that when he sees the ocean, he figures he's safe. He's home, and so it means a lot to them. And then that's when the rifts come and everything is revealed that it wasn't the warriors who shot Cyrus, but picking Luther after all.
Yes, that was a big cathartic scene for me too. Just like watching the rifts, like go in on Luther and the rogues, because like it's not just like Luther and his his lackey that are in on it. They all touched the gun to like pass it to Luther.
Yes, they did.
For Luther to shoot him. So they were all in it. So like I was not like losing any sleep over all of them getting bodied at that moment.
I was not at all. I was like, they get what they deserve, and
yes.
I really liked the last scream from Luther. He's like, no.
And he is such a pussy too. He's just like, no, it was the warriors. They did it, and I'm just like, God, like stop his face in.
It's like I'd rather hang out with Ajax than this little weasel, man.
Reminds
me of people. It's like, good
For
God.
Real. Definitely.
But yeah, so it was good to hear him scream in the end, holding his hand because he tried to Ajax. Not Ajax. Freaking Swan. Slow motion. Freaking switch knife. Get him in the little hand. What I found funny was that afterwards, like nobody from the other people go pick up the gun. Like pick up that gun. I know it has more bullets. Not just one bullet. But either way, it was just funny.
Yeah, totally. There are some, like leaps of faith I have to kind of make with this movie, and lapses in logic that I can forgive just to like move the plot along. And yeah, True Colors come out.
Yeah, Tony says that Tony says that Mercy was the girlfriend of the orphan leader.
Oh yeah, so like I guess like
so that's even worse, like pretty much like that's why he punked them in front of the warriors, and he felt less of a man. And that's why he wanted to, I guess, prove himself and make sure they walk through without his colors. I just thought it was more like just like like you grew up with, like I grew up with like girls like that too. So just like neighborhood friends where you just rag on each other because But yeah, if it's even worse for the orphan. More shame on him if that was his girlfriend.
Yeah, no, I wonder what happened to them too, because like they when they tell Swan and the warriors to take off their colors in order to pass through peacefully, like, and Swan is just like, fuck you, they all just like run back into the house for maybe like 20 minutes, like, and Mercy just sort of like follows the warriors away after the warriors start walking away, and then all of a sudden they like show up again with their little shaving blades and thinking like they're really gonna rumble with these guys, and I'm just like, what were you for like the past like hour, like in the movie time? Like I don't know, it just felt really weird how like there was no like other interaction, but I guess like that was to communicate like they really are not like equipped to rumble like that. They have to like go and grab their weapons and figure out a plan and then come back and
exactly
try
it
to
just
rumble.
showed how weak they were. Yeah, poor them. Yeah, don't be part of the orphans, guys. If you guys want to join gangs, get a good gangs. Look at their colors. If they have cool clothes, they might be better than people who don't have cool clothes. I'm just saying.
Pretty much, yeah. Hey Isaac, good to see you. But yeah, that was the Warriors. Like the version I watched was a little less than an hour and 30 minutes long, so it was really easy to watch twice through today. So yeah, like
twice, like a crazy girl.
Enough. I like to do that because like I work from home, so I'm able to just like have a movie on in the background, but I don't absorb as much information.
So you get different pieces of it. I get you.
Yes, exactly. But yeah, no, let's see. So yeah, like I really liked the movie. Definitely, it was something that I grew up watching, like I said before. I was already a fan of the movie. I do have like still an existing, like affinity for it as well. Like I said, a lot of the characters I can't say that I truly empathize with because I didn't grow up in that similar type of situation as they did, but I do like sympathize with them, and like the amount of treachery and like danger, and that feeling of like lost youth and lost innocence was definitely present there for me. So I was like able to actually sympathize with a lot of the characters. So if I had to give this movie a grade, I would probably give it an 8.5 or 9 out of 10. It's very rewatchable, very enjoyable, very easy to just sit down and watch. What's fun is that like the point that you made last week, original seed, was that with Sucker Punch, you can either watch it as just like a popcorn flick for like the fun visual, excuse me, the fun visuals, or you can watch it as like this deep sort of meaningful, like multi like layered sort of cinematic masterpiece. So I think that that's true with the Warriors as well, because there is a lot of depth within the characters if you really wanted to get into each individual person. But if you want to just watch it as like a fun popcorn flick, it's definitely that as well.
Yeah, it is. I agree, because the thing I appreciate about this is that they do, because they don't have all the visual effects and stuff. It relies more on character building. So I feel like a lot of the characters were actually well introduced and fleshed out. So you kind of do have a better, like, you can connect with them more, or at least understand them more if you don't have that connection, because there are fleshed out characters. Whereas maybe like something in Sucker Punch where you're relying more on like on visual effects, and the characters aren't as fleshed out as much, because they have more tools pretty much to all you with, so they don't have to dig too much into the characters or into the scene shots or stuff like that, or into the shots. So I mean, yeah, I think if I were to give it a score too, I think we have like kind of the same taste in movies, but about an 8.5 or a 9 as well. Because like there's still stuff that doesn't make sense, obviously, like like a bunch of MacGuffins, like you said. It could just like they run just a bunch of stuff they could have done better, obviously. So a movie's not perfect, but yeah, it's definitely a good film. It's one of my favorite ones growing up as a child. So I guess I have a little bit of nostalgia too. So I give it more points for that as well. But yeah. And no, I haven't not watched the follow-up comic, the
I haven't read it
Warriors Jailbreak.
or watched any supplemental material. I haven't
No,
played
like
the
yeah,
game, so yeah.
like I'm not sure if you were here earlier when we first started, but she asked me if I played the game, and said that the reason why I skipped the game was because I grew up with the movie, and I love the movie so much that I didn't want the game to ruin the movie for me, or I didn't want the game to be something different than the movie was offering, because I just don't want it to ruin it. So that pretty much I just kept it as a standalone film. Haven't kind of went beyond that. But now that I'm older and like I'm not, I don't think that way, like it's gonna ruin it for me. I'm more open to actually like playing the game and just finding out more stuff about it. I don't even know like if these actors are alive still, like what they went on to go do and stuff like that. So just kind of it'd be kind of cool and interesting to see like where are they now? What, 40 years later? Dang.
The game is kind of bad, to be honest. Oh man, I have to know what
No,
version is
that's
like.
what I heard too. But I heard it was like a one-on-one, just like the story, and it is from Rockstar. So I mean, I don't think it's gonna be that bad. But then again, I do give a lot of games a lot of chances, even if they're not that great. So I mean, I don't consider like a 7 out of 10 a bad game. As long as I have fun, and as long as it provides me with a good story and stuff, then I'm willing to give most games a chance.
No, definitely. I feel like I should have had you on the gaming news podcast this week. I know you probably were at work or busy or something, but we
I
were talking
was
about
at
Elden
work.
Ring. Yeah, we were talking
Yeah,
about Elden Ring, and you would have
I
been
know
great
you.
to have on
I
there.
was listening to it. I was listening at work. So I mean, don't worry about it. But yeah, because I know I haven't been talking about video games a lot lately because of my other series, but I play video games all the time, and like I've been playing Elden Ring since it came out. I don't know how many hours, but it's just such a great game. Like I have it on Xbox, so I have a quick resume. So like let's just say right now I just got my ass kicked and I died before I came on stream. Like right now when I finish playing with you, I can jump on it for like a good 20 or just like one run until I die again, and I'll leave off exactly where I left off right now. So right now like I'm on some peak where I need to go and recover all my runes, and I'm gonna do that right now, and it's I don't know, just like so much fun, and I can just talk about it. Like I want to talk about this game because there's so many aspects to talk about, but it's this like I'm not like Retro Complex where he's like he knows everything about this game because he's been playing all the Soul games. When I talk about it, I'm gonna be talking about it from fresh perspectives and the way that I play, and it's just like I play. I'm taking my time with it like so much, because it's one of those games where it don't give you direction. Your curiosity is your compass, like I told somebody on Twitter, and so you pretty much just right now I see that tree, I'm gonna go towards that tree, I'm gonna find so much awesome shit to that tree, but I might die, but it's okay because right after that I'm gonna respawn again, I'm gonna go get it, you know. And so that's kind of where I'm with that game right now.
Do you think that like once you're ready to kind of like phase down on playing it as frequently, that you'll eventually do like a video on it, or not?
Oh, I think I'm gonna just I'll like I have a lot of clips that I record from different stuff that I want to talk about, so it's just whenever I have the time or whenever like I'm not gonna do a review because when I do like I think reviewers need to finish the game. They need to actually like go through all the like potions, what things do, like all the weapons. Like an actual review, know how to compare different things, know attributes, and just like stuff. Don't be like, oh, okay, this like, I don't know. If you're gonna review it, review it. So what I'm gonna do is just like I die a lot. So what I'm gonna do is just talk. I'm gonna make a video about how I die a lot and I'm having fun dying a lot. You know, it's not about oh my god, like you got to get this weapon because it does this certain XP kills and blah 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 blah. No, I don't care about that stuff. If I find a rock that looks interesting, I'm gonna talk about that rock. You know what I mean? That's what I like about video games. I don't like talking about reviews or this and that because everyone does it. If I find a poster on the wall that has a cat, that's gonna be my video. I'm gonna talk about that, finding a poster of a cat. You know, it's like stuff like that that I like in video games. And I just don't have time right now. But I do have all the stuff in the back, and I do plan to talk about video games soon.
Yay! Also, I'm a big fan of the You and Master Chief series as well. I know I'm just shilling for all of your content right now, but I figured I might as well.
No,
So I don't really get to talk to you about it otherwise. But
no,
yeah,
thank
no,
you. I
I'm
appreciate
a
it.
fan of it too.
Yeah, that one's actually quite simple because I think about a lot of stuff you guys a lot. Like when I'm on my days off, I have nothing to do, and like different what you guys talk about, and like you guys' channel, and what other people talk about in the community, and and I was like, I sometimes I want to talk about it, but it's like I don't want to just make the same old videos. So that's where like I can just talk to Master Chief about it, and we'll see how it goes, you know. So that's what I like him because I can just talk to him about stuff that I don't really want to make a big old video about, but it's kind of humorous at the same time and it's relatable. So I like him that he can talk to me about normal stuff in life, and I can still turn it around and use it as part of video games as well.
Yes, awesome. I'm looking forward to your next video. As always, I'm always a big fan of catching all your latest stuff. Obviously, like the Fanboy Wars is very entertaining too. But I love how you're kind of branching out and trying other types of content too to like expand your brand. So I'm really rooting for you. You're like one of my favorite creators on the platform. Really, really awesome. I'm fortunate to be able to be able to collab with you on these videos. And I'm really, grateful for your time this week to chat about another awesome movie, The Warriors.
Yes, I'm always grateful for you having me on. Always, like I said, I don't really do this much, but like me and you clicked, and so I'm always available, especially talking movies. And like I said, I appreciate it because it gives me something else to talk about, and other people can see me for who I am, I guess, see another part of me, so they know that my Fanboy series, even though you guys all like it, it isn't like it's not something that I think about or thrive about or like take pleasure all the time doing it. It's just something that I think it's silly, a lot of the fights that we do. So if I can kind of make something fun out of it, that's kind of my approach to it. But once you guys start fighting, then the series dies. So it's all up to you guys.
On that note, I guess we can like go ahead and wrap up the show. Again, thank you so much, Original Seed, for taking time to chat with us today. Do you have anything that you are planning to either set live tonight or tomorrow? Anything we can look forward to immediately?
No, not anytime soon. I haven't been looking for no fanboy stuff, and right now, like really what I'm doing is like I have to like clear my mind sometimes. So I'm just clearing all my stuff, throwing stuff away, clearing my mind, and then eventually something will pop up, and then I'll share with you guys. I don't have no time frames. It's pretty much whenever something just pops into my head, and I'm able to create it. So it is what it is, guys. Just catch me on this channel whenever I pop up stuff, or you catch me on Twitter if you just get lonely and you want more of me.
Yes, please follow Original Seed Potion Sword Run on Twitter and look up Potion Sword Run on YouTube. Links are in the description, but you can also simply just type in Potion Sword Run into YouTube or Twitter and you will find him. I guarantee that. So,
And
yes,
watch this
please
movie
check him
too,
out.
though. Watch this movie if you haven't. It's a great film.
Yes, like Original Seed said earlier, you can watch it in clips with ads on YouTube, or if you have Paramount Plus or Hulu, it's also on there too. So please check
Yes.
out this movie. But yeah, thank you all so much for tuning in for another episode of the Glimmer Cast, episode 25. We covered The Warriors, the classic 1979 movie, cult classic. And yeah, we're going to be signing off. Thank you again for watching, and I'll
Thank
catch
you.
you on the next one. Take care. Bye.